Rod Stewart has caused a stir by publicly backing Nigel Farage and criticising Keir Starmer over restrictions on the fishing industry. This week, the British entertainment world was rocked as one of the nation's most beloved rock icons dropped a political bombshell that sent shockwaves through Westminster. Sir Rod Stewart, the legendary voice with over 5 decades on stage, stunned audiences by voicing his support for Nigel Farage and Reform UK while launching a scathing attack on Keir Starmer's government. Stewart's intervention brings a completely new dimension to an already turbulent political landscape, especially given his status as a towering cultural figure. At the age of 80, Rod Stewart remains as outspoken as ever, unafraid to address sensitive issues head-on. His remarks came during a lengthy interview ahead of his highly anticipated performance at the Glastonbury Festival. The timing of his comments is hardly accidental. Glastonbury is one of the biggest cultural events of the summer, ensuring his words would gain wide attention. His support for Farage wasn't just surprising, it was unequivocal. The singer, who has largely avoided politics throughout his career, told The Times bluntly we're sick to death of the Tories, give Farage a go, he's doing well. Coming from someone who has historically kept politics at arm's length, choosing instead to focus on music and entertainment, this was a striking intervention. Stewart's decision to speak out now highlights the depth of his disillusionment with the current state of British politics. His endorsement carries particular weight given both his immense cultural influence and the audience he resonates with. As one of Britain's most successful international artists, Stewart has long maintained a connection with the working-class public. Despite his wealth and global fame, his decision to back Farage signals that Reform UK's message is breaking through beyond its traditional support base, potentially reaching voters. The major parties have struggled to engage. Stewart's criticism of Sir Keir Starmer focused primarily on what he sees as a failure to defend the UK's fishing industry. He took particular aim at the controversial 12-year agreement Starmer signed with the European Union, which allows foreign trawlers to continue operating in British waters. The deal has sparked fierce backlash, particularly in Scotland and coastal communities where fishing remains a vital economic and cultural lifeline. It is seen as one of the most politically sensitive aspects of Britain's post-Brexit relationship with the EU. For many pro-Brexit voters, taking back control of British waters was a core promise, one they now feel has been broken. Keir Starmer's willingness to negotiate continued European access to British fishing waters has been seen by many as a betrayal of the Brexit spirit and a failure to defend the national interest. Stewart's comments tapped into deeper concerns about whether the government is genuinely committed to delivering Brexit and upholding UK sovereignty. His analysis of fishing policy was both deeply personal and strikingly insightful. Speaking to The Times, he said Starmer's decision had cut off the Scottish fishing industry, damaging the Prime Minister's standing among maritime communities. Stewart's use of the phrase cut off suggests he views the policy not merely as an economic blow but as a severing of a vital link between government and Britain's traditional industries. His criticism didn't stop at fishing, it expanded into broader worries about Starmer's approach to Brexit and his handling of relations with the EU. Stewart expressed scepticism towards the Prime Minister's attempts to reset the UK-EU relationship, suggesting Starmer's true aim is to steer Britain back into the European Union. Starmer just wants to undo Brexit, and I don't know how he plans to do it, Stewart said, echoing the deep unease many Brexit supporters still feel about the government's European policy. This concern reflects a wider fear among Leave voters that the UK political class may be quietly diluting the 2016 referendum result through incremental policy shifts. Stewart's remarks also reveal that even internationally successful figures like him feel uneasy about the direction of British politics and question the government's commitment to honouring the democratic will expressed in 2016. His public support for Nigel Farage is particularly striking given the personal connection. He personally knows Farage and his family. What choice do we have? I know some of his family, I know his brother, and I'd quite like him, Stewart explained, making it clear that his support is driven not only by political alignment, but also by personal warmth and respect. This personal bond lends a sense of sincerity to Stewart's backing, suggesting it's not just a shallow endorsement. His reflections on the political climate express a profound frustration with the limited choices facing British voters. His question, what choice do we have, resonates with a widespread sense of political disenchantment among those who feel increasingly alienated from the mainstream parties by considering Farage a viable alternative. Stewart highlights the growing appeal of Reform UK among voters who feel abandoned by both Labour and the Conservatives, and while he openly acknowledges his own wealth, Stewart insists that it hasn't blinded him to the everyday concerns of ordinary people. Despite describing himself as filthy rich, the singer remains adamant that he understands the public mood and the core political issues affecting the working class. This self-awareness shows that Stewart is fully aware of the mockery that might be directed at a wealthy rock star daring to speak out politically, yet he appears Genuinely convinced that his views stem from a sincere concern for the future of the country, not from personal gain, his comments on Britain's crumbling infrastructure opened up another line of criticism against the government. Stewart, famously known for fixing potholes himself near his Essex home, has repeatedly voiced frustration over the dire state of Britain's roads. His comparison with infrastructure in other European countries was equally cutting. "When I go to Italy, Germany, nowhere is as bad as here," he said, highlighting the embarrassing gulf between British public infrastructure and that of our continental neighbours. His act of physically repairing the roads has become something of a personal mission, symbolising a deeper discontent with the government's neglect of essential public services. The timing of his political remarks just days before his Glastonbury performance gave them added weight. Glastonbury is not merely a music festival, it is a cultural institution in the UK, attracting hundreds of thousands of attendees and millions of viewers on television. Stewart clearly accepted the risk of backlash by expressing such controversial views ahead of such a major event. This year's Glastonbury show marks a milestone in both Stewart's career and British cultural life. His last appearance on the festival's iconic pyramid stage was back in 2002, making this return after more than 2 decades a particularly notable event. He will perform in the coveted Tea Time Legends slot previously held by the likes of Diana Ross and Shania Twain. This slot is designed to honor music legends and their contribution to popular culture. Preparing for his return to Glastonbury also underlined Stewart's continued ambition and dedication to his craft. He revealed that he had negotiated an extension of his standard 75-minute set to 90 minutes, demonstrating his commitment to delivering the full Rod Stewart experience to his fans. His admission that he had to beg for the extra time conveyed both humility and determination to ensure a memorable performance. Stewart's approach to Gloucestershire reflects a high level of professionalism and an acute awareness of audience expectations. He openly acknowledged that his usual concerts often run well over 2 hours, so even with a 90-minute set, song selection would have to be carefully considered when he remarked that many songs would have to be left out.